Hello everybody and welcome back to Tlatoani, where we are currently working on trying to bring up our prestige somewhat, and the current theory is that the primary thing we need to bring up our prestige is, in fact, defenses. Military defenses. Now, one thing I was just noticing is we could probably connect up this road, right? Not in this exact position, but we could take it down right here and connect it kind of like this in an awkward sort of way. Sure, that'll do. So we'll have that happen, and then the question is, what's our stone situation looking like? So we need a lot of stone yet. That's our primary lack, and has been this whole time. We can't make our own stone. We're 100% reliant on importing. It's very sad. I really wish that we could make our own stone, but alas, we cannot. So to that end, we can just kind of wait at this point. I'm going to see what's the fastest that we can speed this up to. 9? Okay, we're going to sit on 9x. So we're just waiting for stone. We'll address other problems as they come up, but mostly it's just stone. So we'll see how that ends up going. There's a lot of stone needed, for sure. So out over this direction, yeah, I'd really like to see stone coming in over here. Some of our masons lack stone, timber, and clay. I really wish it told us which masons lack those, but whatever. So prestige is at 46 out of 60 right now. If we take a look at this, we can see our might is only 8%. We need 14% in total. So a little bit of additional population, culture, prosperity, those would help, but mostly our problem is our might. And when you look at the might, it's the fortification that's the problem. It's really the fortification. So that just means that we need stone. That's all that means. That's an interesting place to finish a wall. I'm not sure why they decided to do it there, but okay. And actually, instead of this being residential wall, I'm going to remove that, and I'm going to have this actually be regular wall. We could actually use stockade, but I'm going to use standard walls because we've already got that set up. So that's going to be a standard wall there, and we're just waiting for these two to be removed. There we go. And there we go. Okay, so that should do the trick, in theory. A porter yard caught fire. I'm not very concerned about that. We should have well dippers pretty much everywhere. Some of our security venues are overstretched. An alcove has caught fire. Yeah, that's down over here. It's already dealt with. No big deal there. Like I said, right now, basically all we need is to get stone brought in. We still have a very big lack of stone. We need to get these residential walls finished. And we need to get our regular walls finished. So all of that would be great. These are residential walls over here as well, actually, and let's get those removed and changed over to being standard walls. So they're going to go from here, just like that. Okay, that'll do for now. And then we should also probably have, like, at least a dirt road going something like this. And let's take out these sections of cactus right here, just so that we can access these a little bit better. These are technically forests, but they're cactuses. There we go. We actually finished some wall over here, which is kind of wild. Wait, who was that was displeased by our lack of devotion? Someone was displeased by our lack of devotion. This guy. That's Catlipoca? Sure. Let's see what this looks like. We could get... What do you even do? This guy. Artisans, scholars, and priesthood. Oh, this is Quetzalcoatl. Hang on. This one. Rebels and fighters. Okay. So that would be this guy, and we should maybe have one near our barracks, perhaps. Strong symmetry there, and awful symmetry here. This would be strong symmetry. That seems okay. Let's get some of that going, And then down over this direction, I'm wondering about maybe one down over here. This would have average symmetry. This is strong symmetry here. And I think that's fine. Yeah, we can just connect that right there. Beautiful. So then up over on this side up here, we've got one right there. So I'm not too concerned about that. Down by this barracks, do we have one over here? I believe that's this. No, that's Shipe Totek. So that would be this guy. Average. This is strong symmetry right here. Do it. So that seems good. And then there is there another fortress up over here? No. Okay. That should hopefully solve the problem. It will, of course, require additional stone. So that's, you know, a bit of a concern, to be sure. Some of our religious venues are overcrowded. Sure. Deeply unsurprised about that one. And I kind of want to take these sections of road out and then have it connect a bit more like this. Okay. So that'll be absolutely fine. That'll get finished up pretty soon. Eventually. There we go. Sure, that'll do for now. And then down over this direction, we're definitely seeing some of this stone getting built. So our prestige is now 48, and that is not being boosted at all by our might. So that is absolutely noted. We need a lot more stone, that's for sure. So we could consider putting in like some stone imports down here or something. For the time being, I'm just going to leave this be. And we'll just run the clock. I think it's absolutely fine. We're not going to need that stone long term. So this is why I was saying I don't really care for the timer in the campaign mode of this game. Because things that we're not going to need long term, I generally don't like investing in if we can just be patient. And this is one of those situations where we can just be patient. The stone will get here. We're not going to need a huge amount of stone import once we get this finished. So we can just wait it out. That's completely and totally fine. It's not fine, however, if you're in a situation where the game won't let you, right? So that's why I don't really care for that mechanic. Because in this situation, we are not going to need more stone import once we get all of this finished. We just simply aren't. We have enough stone import for everything that we need. It's just going to take time. And I'm absolutely okay with waiting that out. Patience is a virtue, and I definitely believe in patience. Unless we're waiting for manpower to regenerate, but that's a different thing. Ooh, look at this. We finished a good section of the walls out over here. That's very, very good to see. I'm wondering why we even built this. Why did we even build that? If we remove that, I think we'll get a section of the, or at least a chunk of the stone back, I think. I don't 100% know how that works. But yeah, we should remove this. That shouldn't be here. And then this section, I just want to rotate it. So we're just waiting on this getting removed. Eventually it'll happen. Come on, somebody. We finished our gate. That's something. Any moment now. Why is this claiming that this section of wall is going to cost 748 stone? That's a lot of stone. I don't think it will, actually. I think it's going to cost 4 stone, but maybe that's indicative of how much stone deficit we have right now. That would be a weird way to do that, though, and I would not expect our stone deficit to actually be 724. I'd expect it to be significantly higher than that. So that's definitely noted. Let's get this road connected up over here. I don't know why they're not removing this, but it might have to do with the distance from the road. Hopefully now somebody will come over here and remove this. I just want to get it rotated, right? And kind of the same with this up over here. I just want to get that rotated too. Yeah, we'll just have it, we'll have it end like this. It's going to be a kind of awkward ending, but it's fine. So nobody's removing this. I'm going to try undoing that and reissuing the order and see if maybe now they'll come remove it. They do not seem interested, do they? Well, that's certainly exciting. At some point, somebody will remove that, right? I hope. I hope. So our prestige is now up to 50, and that's not coming from might. That has come from an increase in other categories, I think. Our culture is at 18. That's probably part of it. And we're definitely seeing some negative axe monies right now. So that's certainly noted. That's going to be hurting us a little bit in our prosperity score. I'm not terribly concerned about it at this moment, though. Yeah, now we've got a surplus. We were just waiting for our trades to go through. So that seems perfect. We've got some stone down over here. It'll get taken away very quickly. Ah, this was finally replaced. Perfect. So we'll put a wall right down over here. Now we could put in some towers, but I don't think we need to. I really, really don't. Do we think that this section of wall is necessary? No. And it kind of looks terrible. So let's get that out of there, and let's evaluate the rest of this up here to see if there's any other unnecessary wall sections. I don't think that there are. There's this up over here. We're using the lake, and then there's this here that is definitely potentially problematic. The main problem with it, of course, is that we need to be able to build, like, right here, which is right on the edge of the map, and I'm 99% certain that we can't build here. Yeah. We can't even build here on the other side. So that's not great, right? But hopefully this will be good enough. We're definitely seeing significant sections of this finishing now. So that looks good. How are our residential walls coming? They are not finished, but they're getting a lot closer. And we're starting to see a lot of our walls get finished now too. So I think this is good. We're in a good position as far as that goes, I feel like. Some of our workshops are lacking things. Yeah, that's going to be a thing. Is that this one down over here, I wonder? Yeah, that's this guy. So this porter yard needs to be getting clay, timber, and stone. And that should solve this mason yard issue. Okay, so that should be good. Yeah, that looks absolutely fine at this point, with the possible exception of the stone. But that should be no problem. We're going to be making ludicrous sums of money once we're done with our stone imports, or done-ish, done adjacent with our stone imports. So that'll be good. Our prosperity has dropped down a little bit, and that's definitely interesting. I think that's probably due to profit and loss being a bit of an issue. It seems to be a bit of a running average or something. That's fine. We can also think about getting like some additional upgrades to this modest estate or something along those lines. Yeah, this is now a large estate. They want gardens, and to be honest, we could definitely put a gardener in over here. So that would be like putting a gardener about here, and then we can put small gardens through all of these little areas. We can't actually put it here, unfortunately, but yeah, we can't put it here either. We can certainly get some gardens put in over here. That puts us at 28. Okay, and then we could even get like 29 and 30, like that. So that'll get some of that going. And then we've got this noble compound up over here. It needs timber to develop. This large market doesn't actually have any timber in it right now. That's intriguing. We have 1659 timber overall. I would expect us to have enough timber. Maybe we need a little bit more timber production, though. It wouldn't be much. But I think we have enough timber and clay. We just need to get it distributed, ultimately. So this porter yard here, it's trying to get timber and stone. It's not trying to get clay right now. So that's absolutely noted. So this dentist up over here is a bit strained. Not terribly surprised about that one. Seems reasonably fine for now. And we're just continuing to work on getting large sections of these walls finished, actually. So these are done over here. That looks good. This is making progress. This out over here isn't, which I'm not terribly shocked about. That's a really long ways away. And there's all of this stuff over here, which has made significant progress thus far. So I'm pretty happy with the progress that we've been making. Our stone is definitely getting put to use, and our residential walls are really, really close to being finished as well. So that seems good. This is now a large estate here that needs access to more clean water. That's intriguing, because there's a well dipper right here, and a well dipper right here, with light service usage. I guess we're lacking a shrine to Tlaloc. Great Temple provides Tlaloc services, right? Maybe it doesn't do Tlaloc supervision. Yeah. Citywide services to Tlaloc, but I don't think it provides Tlaloc supervision. I'm pretty sure that's the issue. So if we wanted to put this up over here, I would want it to be supervising both of these well dippers. So perhaps here? Yes, strong symmetry, and that will reach both of those well dippers. Let's get that going. Beautiful. So we're at 58 stone right now in the entire city. We have very little stone, and this is deeply unsurprising. Deeply, deeply unsurprising. So we can see our prestige is now up to 62, and our might still hasn't adjusted at all. That's interesting. We only need 8 more prestige at this point. So our prestige is absolutely ticking up slowly. And our prosperity should get upgraded soon. This home needs access to a market. Yeah, that would be a thing, wouldn't it? So we should probably extend this out here and put in a small market out over this direction, about here. And that will reach this common home. The Great Temple caught fire. Okay. So that should be absolutely fine. We're just about done with these residential walls. But we're definitely seeing a lot of stone making its way out into our walls proper. So that's noted. In fact, we're getting pretty close to being done out over here. This is now showing that we have a deficit, if this is correct, of 424 stone. I think that's in exactly what that's showing us. But each of these are 40 stone. I would still expect this to be a lot more than 420 stone. Maybe that's not showing us what I think it's showing us. Hard to say. So what do we need here? Maize? We'll definitely get some maize, although we don't have a granary out over here, and we probably should. So let's go ahead and put a granary in about up over here. That should be able to reach that market. Yes, and that's going to be accepting maize, fruit, and chili. We're not going to be getting it. We're going to be accepting it from these out over here. So that looks good. We'll get that granary online. That will start distributing maize to these markets. We need access to more nutrition. Yeah. That's what we're actively working on. So that looks good. These residential walls are so close to completing. I like it. That's very, very good. And we're also very, very close to getting these walls done. So our prestige is now up to 53. Our prosperity has dropped to 51 out of 55. So our prosperity is definitely dropping at this moment, which is interesting. Now it's up to 52. Well, I'm interested in getting some additional upgrades out over this way. So this home has everything it needs. Needs access to pottery to develop. So that's understood. We can have this border yard be set to getting pottery, and that should solve that problem. So that sounds good. What about any other homes that might be out over, like, this direction? That's an herbalist? Okay. We don't really have housing in here. We have these two. They need access to pottery, and that's going to be difficult for them to get, isn't it? What market are they accessing? They're accessing this market? We can get pottery in here. There we go. No problem. We might need a little bit of extra pottery production, maybe. Although, to be honest, we're probably doing okay on pottery. So our prosperity is up to 52, our prestige is up to 54, so our prestige is absolutely getting there. That looks great. This wall is nearly completed. That's one of our big stone expenditures there. We just finished up more residential wall up over here. There's very little residential wall left to be built here, but there is still some. And then this is our other major wall investment here, and that's going to need a fair amount of additional resources. This one up here is done, though, which is mildly surprising. And we're hoping that we get this finished before we have to repair them, because we're not really going to be repairing them in any meaningful way. So that's, you know, that's something. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely something. So our prosperity is at 51 out of 55. I want to look in at some of these. Needs access to more clean water. Once again, we've got this well dipper here. We could potentially put a shrine to Tlaloc right up over here. That's good symmetry. Let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to put one up here too. That was average symmetry? Oh, right, because we put it on the inside. There we go. So we'll get that going, and that will oversee these well dippers, in theory. And this one's already being overseen a little bit. Okay, so clean water, clean water, clean water. This one needs access to timber. So, I mean, we should be getting timber in here, right? Yeah, we should be. I think this does indicate that we require additional timber production. Let's go ahead and put in one additional sawyer right here, and one additional sawyer right here. There we go. So we'll get those in there, and that will start some additional timber production. I really don't feel like we need much additional timber production, but this also might have to do with, do the stone walls require any timber? They do. They require a little bit of timber. So that temporary outlay may have been a bit of an issue there too. So checking in up over here, we can see, oh, we just finished the majority of this. This side just finished on the residential walls. Perfect. This side still needs 6 artwork here and 3 artwork here. So both of those are artwork. And they're done. So the residential wall is now finished. Beautiful. Now all we're working on is the defensive wall. This one has made significant progress. It is not finished, but it has made significant progress. This one has kind of languished a little bit. It hasn't made as much progress, but I think it has made some. So that seems okay. Let's check in on our prestige. We're at 55 out of 60 at this point. Our might is still chilling at 8%. We're still getting no bonus from fortification. So that's interesting for sure. And other than that, our prosperity is still down a little bit. So debt and profit and loss, yeah, this is the issue. Again, once we stop importing so much stone, we're going to be making ludicrous sums of money. And so I'm not very concerned about that. So for now, all we need to do, I think, is finish up these walls, and hopefully that will fix our prosperity. This seems to be a bit of a running average, so we have to run a surplus for a long time to get the prosperity back. And we've been kind of cycling between a surplus and a deficit. We've been running fairly neutral. So that's okay. We could potentially cut our wages and increase our taxes. And that should solve that problem. There we go. Now we should be running a much larger surplus for ever, pretty much, at this point. So that seems great. We just need to finish up these walls, and I think that's all we need to do at this point to wrap up this particular city, and that would be great. It's gone on for a while, but that's mostly because we can't produce our own stone. That's the limiting factor here. We have to import it, and that has caused us no end of problems. But we're getting there. We're very close. But it is time to put a cut in here. I think next episode, it's very likely that we might be able to end this particular city and move on to the next one. That would be great. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Aurelio, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.